New York in the 80s, it's like The Walking Dead.
Your dad never mentioned this to you?
It's just my mom.
Ever since the release of its first installment back in 1984, fans of Ghostbusters have had no problem with the supernatural, knowing precisely whom to call when there's something strange in the neighborhood. And with the insane amount of nostalgia that the classic brings with it, there's no wonder people are excited for the much-anticipated sequel to the franchise. But what do we know about Ghostbusters Afterlife? And should we be expecting more from it than what we were given in the form of the 2016 remake? Well, whether you're a fan of the franchise or just want to know as much as possible about one of the most anticipated releases of this year, stay right where you are, as we're about to explore everything there is to know about Ghostbusters Afterlife. So strap yourselves in and get ready for that nostalgic tune, as things are about to get interesting. But before we get into it, make sure to leave a like and subscribe with notifications turned on so you don't miss out on any of the new videos we post. 1. Release date. Ghostbusters Afterlife has had a pretty difficult journey considering how it was originally set to release in the summer of last year. But unfortunately for Sony Pictures, nobody could foresee what the after effects of the global health situation would be. Not only did it cause a number of states to go on a hard lockdown last year, bringing both filming and production to an end, it also resulted in some pretty unique safety regulations being put in place. And while these safety precautions were indeed necessary, there's no doubt that a number of titles were delayed as a result. Ghostbusters Afterlife was clearly one of these delayed titles. In fact, it can be said that Ghostbusters Afterlife was very much the delayed title from which studios and streaming platforms learned. You see, the film hasn't just been delayed once, it was delayed last year when the global health situation first started. Since the studio had no idea when filming would be able to resume, it dropped the initial plan to release in the summer of that year, indicating that the film would definitely release on the 5th of March, 2021. Then, in October of 2020, the studio established that even this new date was too ambitious, moving the release date from spring of 2021 to the summer of 2021. That was, however, unfortunately not the final delay that Ghostbusters Afterlife encountered. As of right now, the film is set to release in theaters on the 11th of November 2021. And while our fingers are definitely crossed in the hope that we will be able to watch it then, we wouldn't want to put all our eggs in one basket. It wouldn't be the first time that the studio has disappointed us with a delay after all. In other words, let's hope for the best and expect the worst to prevent any further disappointment that might result from a promise that can't be kept. 2. The incredible cast of the sequel. While the main reason behind the insane amount of anticipation for this sequel is very much driven by nostalgia, Sony didn't skimp when it came to casting the actors and actresses that would take us on this new generation journey. Playing off of the success of shows like Stranger Things and movies like the It franchise, Ghostbusters Afterlife is bringing in a group of talented young cast members who are set to act alongside seasoned vets of the industry. Paul Rudd, for example, has been revealed to be bringing the role of Mr. Gruberson to life during the runtime of the movie. Best known for his role as Ant-Man in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and for the numerous times he has played a comedic genius in shows such as Friends and Parks and Recreation, there's no doubt that he qualifies as a veteran of the industry. While we don't know much about his character, we can be sure that he is set to portray a role model to the children in his life, of which there are many, considering that he is a school teacher and all. It also appears from the trailer that he has an interest in the supernatural, and could very well be the one who gets our famous group of kids invested in becoming the new generation of Ghostbusters. Carrie Coon, another vet of the industry, has also been indicated to be playing the role of Callie in the Ghostbusters universe. As a single mom who is slowly but surely going broke, Callie moves with her children, as portrayed by Finn Wolfhard and McKenna Grace, to their grandfather's old home in Somerville. It appears as if the grandfather had a bit of a secret though, which becomes apparent when McKenna's character, Phoebe, discovers some ghost-capturing equipment in the living room. Speaking of McKenna, she is probably best known for her portrayal of the younger version of Sabrina Spellman in The Chilling Adventures of Sabrina on Netflix, as well as the young version of Theo in The Haunting of Hill House. Finn Wolfhard, on the other hand, who plays the role of Trevor, is definitely best known for his role as Mike in the Stranger Things universe, making him one of the most popular 18-year-olds in the world. 3. The start of a new generation. According to the trailer that dropped a few months ago, there hasn't been a ghost sighting in Somerville in about 30 years, with the kids of the day having next to no idea who or what the Ghostbusters were. Phoebe doesn't even recognize what the ghost trap she finds in her living room is, with the threat of the supernatural having been defeated all those years ago. But what we also see is a town in peril, suffering from a number of earthquakes on a daily basis, even though it is nowhere near any fault lines. And with the green light that we see shining from the mine shaft at the beginning of the trailer, there's no doubt that the supernatural forces that used to plague the world are back. But since the Ghostbusters have all been forgotten, who will save the town of Somerville from the spirits that will most likely start wreaking havoc? Well, we get a little clue from the synopsis of the film, which reads as follows. When a single mother and her 2 kids arrive in a small town, they begin to discover their connection to the original Ghostbusters and the secret legacy that their grandfather left behind. It is thus clear from the synopsis that both Trevor and Phoebe are direct descendants of at least one of the original Ghostbusters we have come to love over the years, which makes them the perfect candidates to take over the reins that were left for them and save Somerville from the supernatural terrors that have risen once more. This would leave space for the franchise to take off once more, bringing enough nostalgia with it through the kids learning exactly what their grandfather did in the past. So, unlike the terrible 2016 remake of the franchise, Ghostbusters Afterlife is very much a continuation of the original franchise, which is looking to have quite a few tie-ins to the previous films. As to which of the original cast members Trevor and Phoebe are going to be connected to, we have our money on Egon Spengler, who was portrayed by the late Harold Ramis. And it's not just that Phoebe looks like a young female version of Spengler with her thinly rimmed glasses. Later in the trailer, we actually see Spengler's Ghostbuster suit hanging in the closet at her grandfather's creepy old house. This could very well be a bit of misdirect, with the majority of the details surrounding Ghostbusters Afterlife being kept under wraps. 4. Expect some returning cast members. Since Ghostbusters Afterlife is set to be the sequel and third installment to the original Ghostbusters franchise, you wouldn't be wrong to assume that some of the original cast will be returning, regardless of just how long it's been since they last pulled on their ghost-busting overalls. The very first confirmation we had of this was upon hearing that Sigourney Weaver would be reprising her role as Dana Barrett, whom we all remember getting possessed in the first Ghostbusters movie. Vanity Fair then reported that Bill Murray would be returning to play Dr. Peter Venkman, while Dan Aykroyd and Ernie Hudson would be portraying the roles of Ray Stantz and Winston Zeddemore, respectively. Last but not least, Annie Potts has also been confirmed to reprise her role as Janine Melnitz. It's clear that fans are excited about the original cast members coming together once more in an effort to pass the torch over to the younger generation. But they aren't the only ones who are excited about it all. When speaking about their return, Hudson said the following. It was almost a spiritual coming together, not a religious one, but I just felt almost emotional by it. I mean, to see Bill Murray and Dan Aykroyd, Sigourney Weaver, Annie Potts, and then to see this new group of people coming in, it was something that had such an impact on my life. To be able to come back together again, that was very, very special. Hudson also mentioned just how incredible it was to see Jason Reitman directing the film, as the original cast knew him as the kid that was always on set during the original franchise. Murray then spoke up about the script of the film, saying the following. The script is good. It's got lots of emotion in it. It's got lots of family in it, with thorough lines that are really interesting. It's gonna work. With the original cast saying such incredible things about the continuation of their journey, it's no wonder Ghostbusters Afterlife is considered to be one of the most anticipated releases of this year. And since the passing of Spengler's character is likely going to be addressed, you can imagine just how difficult it will be for the original cast to put up with it. Mirroring the passing of the great man that portrayed him, you'll definitely need to bring some tissues to this showing. 5. A private screening. As mentioned earlier, Jason Reitman is the man in charge of directing the Ghostbusters sequel, which is incredible considering how his father, Ivan Reitman, was the one to direct the original Ghostbusters. In an exclusive interview with Empire, Jason mentioned that with the global health situation, his father hasn't really been getting out of the house much, which is why he decided to take him to Sony Studios, where he was shown a private private screening of Ghostbusters Afterlife. In his own words, he described the moment as follows. He took a test, put on a mask, and drove down to the Sony lot to watch the movies within the studio. And after, he cried and he said, "I'm so proud to be your father, and it was one of the greatest moments in my life. This is an important film, and we can't wait to see it. Are you excited for Ghostbusters Afterlife to come out? Let us know in the comment section down below."